Yeah, of course, because all that is kind of distractions and a lot of busy stuff that you want to do something else. You want to be with your teammates, but you have to something I can't really say no to. But at the end of the day, it was good to be able to travel, experience, and meet new people. But it do feel good to actually get to the season, officially game week, and get things started.
Does it get tiring, all the attention and commitments and all that, especially during an off season when you don't have games to play?
It gets annoying time to time, but it's something that comes with the territory, and I just try to enjoy it as much as I can because this is once in a lifetime opportunity. So who knows if that type of stuff will ever come back again.
Do you feel any pressure living up to those expectations, or do you kind of just embrace it and almost feel like it's a challenge that you can try to fill those expectations for yourself and for what other people see and think?
Nah, because in reality, I don't really care what other people think about me. I have my own expectations, and I know what I can do, and I know what I can't do, and my teammates know that too. So at the end of the day, people are going to have their own opinions. People are going to hate, be jealous. People are going to like me. People are not. I just do what I got to do, have fun, playing football, and just enjoy it with my teammates. So there's no pressure for me or this team. We just do what we do.
Cam Newton is one of your mentors and a close friend. Did you watch that 2010 game between Clemson and Auburn, the overtime game live back at the time? And is it kind of surreal for you now that you're going to be going into that same environment?
No, honestly, I can't remember if I watched it or not. But man, of course I visit Auburn during the recruiting process, and I know how that stadium is, and how their fans are. Of course, it's gonna be a hostile environment. It's first game, and it's a big time matchup. On prime time, so it's no surprise that it's gonna be loud and real crazy. But we're gonna enjoy it. It's nothing we haven't seen before.
How weird was that visit to Auburn 3 years ago when everything was so secretive and you had both fan bases worrying and everything? What do you recall about that weekend?
It wasn't no secret, you know what I mean? It's something I wanted to make sure I was making the right choice. I just, it was my decision. I don't have to tell the world where I'm going or what I'm about to do. If I want to do something, I can go ahead and go do it. But I enjoyed the visit. Auburn is a nice place. Gus and the whole coaching staff was awesome. Had a great weekend, but I felt comfortable being at Clemson.
Where would you rank Auburn as far as noise that you've heard from the crowd?
I don't know. It's kind of different. It's different from being on the field and being in the stands. And so, I really can't make that decision or tell you, how loud that it's going to be Saturday or not.
You mentioned your own expectations. How do you feel that you performed in camp? Do you think you're going into week one as ready as you can possibly be?
Yeah, I feel comfortable. I'm confident. I feel like we prepare very well. I feel like I prepared very well, and the preparation still isn't done. I don't want to be ready right now. I don't want to be ready by, Friday. Whenever 8:05 hit, in Auburn, Alabama, that's when me and my teammates are going to be ready. We can't play the game right now. We just got to continue to prepare and make sure we channel all the energy and then release it whenever kickoff starts.
How do you prepare mentally when you're going against a defense, first game of the year, but as a new defensive coordinator, and you can't really watch film of what this defense has done with this coach?
You just gotta, watch whatever Coach Steele and their defense did before in previous years, and of course it's week one, so it's gonna be a lot of new stuff. But that's the great thing about what Coach Venables do on the practice field. He gives us a whole bunch of different looks and different packages that we prepare, and it's nothing that we won't see on our practice field. And so we just got to adjust, and that's the good thing about football. You have to adjust each and every week because there's always something new.
Now that the hard days of camp and all that are over, can you feel a difference in your body from that 15 pounds you had?
I feel comfortable. I feel a lot stronger and a lot faster. So I just nothing different than what I felt in the camp. So.
Do you think that's going to help you hold up though when you do take your first couple hits on Saturday?
I guess, regardless if I put on 15 or if I didn't, I was still going to be held up. I held up all last year, so it wasn't going to make a difference.
Deshaun, over the course of your career, how have you done in first games? Do you usually kind of feel like you get right back on the bike and pick it up from where you were the season before? Or first games difficult for you to kind of get back in the flow? What's it been like just sitting back over here?
It's kind of hard to, say in college because, my freshman year I played a little bit, so I couldn't really do what I wanted to do. Last year we did, pretty good, played a half, and so we'll figure out this year what happens. But, in high school, I felt comfortable, I felt good. There's always going to be, some things we got to fix because, it's the first game of the year and we're playing a different opponent. But we'll just have to see, Saturday night, and hopefully everything goes smooth.
Without specifically comparing this offensive line to last year's, how is this year's front five done in camp, and what kind of challenge are they going to face against Auburn's defensive line?
My offensive line is going to be, very good. They're very confident. All the guys have experience. Last year we had a lot of different holes. Mitch Hyde never played a game. Jake Fremore never played. Taylor Hearn never played. I think Tyrone was a first-year starter. Jay just came back. First-year starter. I think the only guy that really played was, Joe Gore and Eric McLean. And so all these guys have experience and prepared and played against the best and practiced against the best. And so, all those guys going to be prepared, confident, and, we'll just, go out there and execute at a high level.
Do you know Lawson or Adams well at all?
No, I do not.
How well do you know Shaun White, Auburn's quarterback? I know you guys spent some time at camps.
I know him a little bit. We talk here and there. He's an Elite 11 brother. And, we went, like you said, we went to camps before, but not on a personal level, I don't.
Did he josh you around anyone because of him winning the Elite 11 3 years ago?
Nah, he never said anything about it. It's just, it's a competition thing, and, he, had a great weekend that weekend. So, it's nothing. At the end of the day, we all still Elite 11 quarterbacks. So.
What kind of quarterback is he? How would you describe him? Spending time with him a few years ago.
I don't know. I really can't say now because 3 years ago is a long time, so a lot of changing can happen. Back then he was the guy that loved to compete, and he just loved the game of football.